It's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my artist trading cards. More artist trading cards. I know you're excited. For days 23, 24, and 25 of the ATC A Day 2018 challenge. That's still going on until the 30th of June 2018. So we're almost to the end. So I ordered these new stencils from Stencil Girl that have math and numbers and equations and things on them to make a special project. But I decided to play with them on my ATC today for day 23. And I started out with some Crafters Workshop embossing paste through the stencil. I will list what stencils they are. I can't remember what the name of them is right now, but I will list them in the description box below in case you really need to have some cool math stencils for making something for someone or yourself. They're pretty neat. Brand new designs. After that was heated up, it was a sterling silver color, and it's because I put it through the paste through the stencil, it's dimensional. And so I heat dried it and made it even more dimensional by puffing it up with the heat tool, which I should probably have just let it dry, but I was in a hurry. So then, because this is watercolor paper, this is 140 pound 300 GSM watercolor paper, I decided to make a bright background and kind of highlight those silver textured bits by adding some watercolors in the background. So this is a Sakura Koi travel set, and I'm just getting a bunch of the pigment onto my brush and then kind of making it go on the edge and then spritzing it with water to make it run down to kind of make a rainbowy background. Some of the watercolor got on the silver bits, and I was trying to remove it to make them more shiny again, but it didn't really work. So I ended up doing something else at the end to make them more shiny. So then this is another one of the stencils. There's a 9x12, a 6x6, and a 4x4 stencil in the set. I don't know if you can get them as a set. I bought them individually, but those are options. And this one is pi in a spiral, like infinity, which I thought was really cool. So I lined that up over the top and put the spiral on with some titanium white paint just to add more visual texture. It's just, it's not through your paste or anything. It's just flat on there, but because it's white on the colorful background, it shows. And then I went to my box of things I've received in Happy Mail to try to find something to put on there as a focal image. I'm auditioning a lot of little bits and pieces from the box. I end up settling on the koi fish, but it's too bright of colors and it clashes with the background. So I take some ivory black paint and also some blue black PBO shimmer paint, and I color it a darker color just by sponging that paint over the top. And then it looks better on my card. And so I glue that down using the iCraft mixed media glue from Thermoweb. I like it because it has a very pointy little nozzle that I can apply glue to something very thin, like these little whiskers or whatever. I decided I wanted to fill in the body of the koi fish, so I'm using some PBO iridescent silver paint and just using a water tank brush to apply that. I don't need the water from the brush. It just happened to be what was on the desk that has a small point. I could have used just a regular brush. Probably could have even gotten out a silver pen and used that instead, which might have been less messy than what I'm doing. But, you grab what's right there around you. This die cut has texture on it. It's one of those ones that cuts and presses at the same time. I will try to find it for you in case you really need this die cut. It was sent to me in Happy Mail, so I don't know exactly where it came from, but I'll try to find it and link it below if I can. So then I still wanted those numbers to be more shiny, and so I just went with some of that PBO paint and my finger over the raised numbers to try to make them a little bit more shiny. And to finish this one up, I went around and drew darker lines around the edges of the fish on the die cut, not on the paper. I don't know, something it still wasn't standing out enough, so I made like kind of illustration lines around with a black Posca pen, fine tip, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And then I whitened up his eyeball with a white Posca pen. And I think this one is cute. I ended up putting a chat sticker on there, and I cannot remember what it says at this point. You know, I voice over these videos after the fact. I do the video, then I edit it, and then I voice it. So sometimes I can't remember exactly everything that happened. So I'm kind of following along with you, and then I remember, oh yeah, that's what I did. What does it say? What does it say? Anyway, I chased around it with a white pen to make it stand out, and it says, great things take time. Oh yes, because math, you know, discovering math formulas and researching math problems. The person who's going to receive a project made with these stencils is getting his master's and doctorate in mathematics. So I just couldn't resist the stencils. So then I decided to play with some of these Shannon Green vinyl ATCs. She takes the vinyl billboards and she fuses them and recycles them into stuff. And she has these things called custom keepers, which are like journal covers. And then she has all kinds of other things like little boxes and just all kinds of stuff made with this vinyl. And my friend Peg had sent me a pack of these ATCs. You can get these in the By Shannon Green Etsy shop, and I will be sure to link that in the description box below. I also ordered a couple of the custom keepers, and sometime in the near future you'll see me decorating the outside of one of them that I'm going to make into a travel journal, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I'll get there. So what I decided to do was I first, of course, put some white gesso on all of them, and then I used my 2-inch brayer to roll some colors over there, kind of going for a naturey, outdoory look with chopped pesto and coffee bean and slate gray, or whatever the gray is from the Dylusions. And it was inspired by this magazine piece that I had that had some wolves on it, which are super cool. Wolves are super cool. There was 4 wolves. I could only fit 2 wolves on the card, but I trimmed them out, completely forgetting to trim underneath the legs, and you'll see what happened with that. Yeah, dumb. I was so excited to get them cut out that I forgot to cut the dark parts out from underneath their legs. So I add some rich gold from PBO to make a little moon and some splattery stars, and sponge around the edges of the card. And then I use the matte gel medium to glue this on, and I'm pressing it down, and that's when I realize, dang it, I didn't cut out under the legs. Grr. So I take my X-Acto knife and I start trying to cut it. Of course, everything is kind of wet and not set, and I'm kind of tearing the paper and peeling it off, and I'm peeling off the paint underneath and also even the gesso. So now I'm getting some of that blue coming back through that was on the original piece of vinyl. So I had to come back in with paint and fill it back in. You know, these things happen, but you can always fix them. You can always fix them. Get a little bit of dirty paint on that poor wolf's front legs. Oh, it was one of those days. But I leave this stuff in so that you know that things do not always go perfectly. That everybody has a day where things just do not go as they had expected. They make silly oversights and mistakes that can always be fixed. So don't give up. If you do something, you know, maybe not so smart, you just don't toss it in the garbage. Just Just mess with it till you fix it because it'll be okay. It might even inspire you to do something that you wouldn't have done otherwise. It might spark your creativity. So don't give up, people. Don't give up. So then I got out my white Posca pen and I just wanted to add some really bright white highlights. Also, I needed to fix the dark legs there of my poor wolf that got coffee bean paint on him. And so I'm messing with that. I add some highlights in the fur of the wolf, and then I take my Stabilo all black pencil and go around the outside of the image to add my shadows and also around my little moon. And blend that with a water tank brush. Still the same one that's just sitting on my desk. It's an old nasty one, but it's still functioning, so that's always good. I've ruined some of them with acrylic paint, so yeah, it's a cute little pair of wolves. So then I get out my Brother P-Touch label maker and make a label to stick on there. Stay wild, Moonchild. I like that word, those words. And I don't do a very good job of trimming it, but it's all okay in the end. It's just one of those days. Day 24 was just one of those days where things were not going like I wanted, and I was distracted, and yeah. Just one of those days. I have been putting the backs on all of these so that I can send them out to people with my information. I will be doing that soon. I don't know when. But that's day 24 with some cute little wolves. I like it. Day 25, I decided to play with distress oxides. I have this set of distress oxides that I got for Christmas last year. All came together in a set. I don't play with them very often. I'm more of an acrylic girl and I don't use ink that often. So I decided to get them out. I picked some colors off my color chart and I had this one little cut ATC left. I'm going to have to cut some more after this day because or else I could use the rest of the vinyl ATCs for the rest of the time. I don't know. There's only 5 days left. I have enough vinyl ATCs to finish it out probably. So I'm just applying the ink directly to the watercolor paper there. And I want to mess around with that. You know, the distress oxide is a hybrid ink. It's dye and pigment based. And when you apply water to it, it makes this oxidized spot that's lighter than the ink is itself. So I wanted to try messing with that. So I got out a stamp set and I was stamping over it with water, hoping that that area would lighten a lot. But it didn't lighten as much as I wanted. I was disappointed. Really didn't work. So I splattered some water on there just to see what the difference is and then blotted it. And you can see that the splattered water had an effect, but the stamped water didn't really come up that brightly. So I decided to just stamp over those circles that I had put on there with water using the same colors in different areas to make kind of an interesting background. Same exact colors, fossilized amber, candied apple, spiced marmalade, and wilted violet are the colors. So that looked pretty okay. I had another stamp in the set that kind of can go over the top of the circle, has kind of a little wheel type thing on it. So I stamped over the circles with that in the same colors as the background, just trying to add some more interest. That didn't show up that well either. My messing with distress oxides really wasn't that satisfying. Then I realized that this is one of the cut down pieces that needs another piece underneath. I cut a few of these 1/4 of an inch smaller so that I could layer them on top of something else. So I cut a piece of glossy black to put underneath it and make a border. Then I went back to that box of stuff looking for something to put on there. I found this felt butterfly. That's a die cut of some sort that someone has sent me. And I thought that looked pretty cute on there. It's a similar color to the fossilized amber. And then I remembered that my friend Peg had sent me some of these pieces of felt from Daiso, which is apparently a Japanese dollar store that they have in California and probably other places. We don't have a Daiso, but it looks like a fun place to shop if you have one. They have a lot of interesting stuff there. I watched a video that Peg linked me to of someone at Daiso. It's a really neat looking store, and if I ever come across one, I will go there. But she'd sent me these pieces of felt, and so I cut some of them out to fit, to make the butterfly, the yellow butterfly, more colorful by using the red and the orange. And then I had some black washi tape that I made a little body for the butterfly, trimming it and gluing it down so that it wasn't like wings without a body, because that looked weird. It just looked like wings without a body. So I glued all that together with tacky glue, which is a craft glue that I've been using since I was born, I think. It's good stuff. Tacky glue is good stuff. So once that was on my card, I made some really skinny strips of the same black washi tape and made some little antennas, because butterflies just can't be butterflies without antennas. They need them. And I added a Tim Holtz chat sticker, the black with white writing that says, I think, "Don't be afraid to fly," or something like that on there. And then I went and got some glittery sequins that someone had sent me in Happy Mail. They're strange sequins. There's some ones that are circles, and then there's some ones that look like they were the insides. It's kind of like they're donuts with donut holes, and then they have this glittery stuff on them that makes them stick together, so I have to pick them apart. But they're pretty when they're on there, just a little bit more work than you would expect. So I glued some red ones and some orange ones and a couple white ones on the wings to make the butterfly even more interesting and sparkly. And then I added some sparkle to the background by adding some Stickles glitter glue, because the background seemed a little bit flat. And that was done. So if you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, to leave me a comment or question below, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notification bells if you want to know when I've uploaded a fresh video for you. You guys might want to go back and check and make sure that you are subscribed and that your notification bells are on if you had them on before, because with that debacle of YouTube disabling my channel and erasing all my subscribers, some people did have to resubscribe and you know, fix up that stuff, so you might want to do that. Of course, you can always share this with someone who might be interested in it, or pin it on your Pinterest. These things help my channel by helping people find me and increase the recommendations that I might get, which makes the channel grow. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.